pleased to have on the line with us today LaTricea Adams. She is the founder and president of Black Millennials for Flint, as in Flint, Michigan. They raise thousands of dollars for water bottles for Flint. And the website is Black Millennials, the digit 4, number 4, Flint.org. And you can tweet her at BM number 4 Flint and with the hashtag do something. LaTricea, welcome to the program.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Tell us about your group. How did you come together, and what are you up to? And then I want to get into this abomination of Nestle. I'm assuming you're familiar with that and all that.
Absolutely. So Black Millennials for Flint actually started as a group of young African American professionals wanting to just provide some direct service to our brothers and sisters in Flint. So immediately everyone wanted to give water. After researching the issue a bit more and realizing that it didn't just start in 2015, dating back to about April of 2014, we felt that it was necessary to push a little bit harder to still serve our brothers and sisters, again, with direct service, with providing water and other support, but also we wanted to enter into the advocacy space as well. So some of our work has included doing a Flint service trip, which took place back in April, as well as doing fundraising, but then also we've been making connections back to other majority Black and Latino communities that also face lead exposure, including right here in the district, where we had an opportunity to testify before City Council as well as the State Board of Education, just trying to hold our elected officials accountable for these instances where lead is creeping into our Black and brown communities, and then also trying to seek resolve because it's irreversible once you've been exposed to lead. So that just in a nutshell kind of sums up some of the work that we do. We are based here in D.C., but again, lead is not just a Flint issue. It's an issue that is pervasive in many urban cities, rural cities that are majority African American and Latino communities.
Right, right, and this is just a screaming disaster, and it's a multi-generational disaster because, as you point out, childhood exposure to lead is damaging. I mean, it's damaging to developing brains, and which then makes people less competent as breadwinners and as parents, and I mean, it just kind of echoes. Even a single exposure can echo down the generations, and that's without even getting into the epigenetics. The issue that the human genome can actually be altered by exposure to toxins. Now, meanwhile, in Michigan, you've got Nestle, the $219 billion water company, is pumping water like crazy in Everett, Michigan, 200 million, and they're going to double the amount of groundwater that they pump in Everett, Michigan, from 105 million gallons a year to 210 million gallons a year. This is then sold as bottled water. And they're going to pay $200 for this.
Right.
What's going on?
I think before I even
and this is 100 miles from Flint. Pardon my interrupting you, but this is like just down the road from Flint. And Flint, it's back to you, LaTricea.
Right. So just so many slaps in the face there in regards to just the lack of humanity. So I wanted to first touch on Governor Snyder. So I think one of the most inhumane and criminal things that you can do is to prevent human beings from the access of one of the most necessary items, aspects that we have to have in our life, which is water. And the second part of that is to privatize that, right? To utilize a resource that is so necessary for life, to add monetary value to that. I think that it is very appropriate, with these actions of Governor Snyder. How is that not aligned with fascism, right, and despotism, where you use your power to deny very necessary needs of people, but still, looking out for your best interest from a financial perspective. And I know that Governor Snyder prides himself about his corporate background and being about big business. But even though you're in this position of power, you still are a public servant. Right. And so it is completely egregious to, one, have access, and I think about like the whole mantra of Michigan, right, which is pure Michigan, to allow this corporate monster to suck up all of these resources where just 100 miles down the road, like you mentioned, we have people who don't have access to water, have not had access to clean water for almost 2 years now, have some of the irreversible damage that is done, not just necessarily with the physical and mental symptoms of the lead exposure, but just also a complete lack of trust. And just the breakdown of the entire community of Flint, where an entire government, an entire state, an entire country ideally turned their back on Flint, Michigan, and is not focused on making sure that there's allocation of clean water, even in the interim. I know that Congress just passed a budget for about $170 million, which we know is just not enough. Still not even focusing on the needs that need to be addressed right now. Still back on Snyder, where he did a block after the U.S. District Judge in the state of Michigan made a motion that all Flint residents should get water delivered. So it's very apparent that this is, in my opinion, it's just genocide, not even from a cultural perspective, but literally if you deny people access to clean water, you don't care about their lives. Yeah. In a nutshell.
Yeah, it's, water and air are two things that, we can only go minutes without air and we can only go a few days without water. And clean water and clean air are things that we absolutely need. And I'm with you. You're doing God's work. It's great that you're out there. LaTricea Adams, the founder and president of Black Millennials for Flint. The website is blackmillennials4flint.org. Please check it out. And you can tweet her at BM4Flint. Is there another Twitter address that you'd like to put out, LaTricea?
So that's our main one. So just tweet us. You can also like us on Facebook so that you can just be up to date with all of our upcoming events.
Great.
If you're in the D.C. area, we do have an event this evening at Smith Public Trust.
Hang on just a second.
Fundraiser. So check us out.
Okay, great. LaTricea Adams. Thanks so much, LaTricea.
Thank you.